Ooh, today's review is going to be something special. We're covering a Ridley Scott film, Legend. Whenever I mention this film to people, I usually get mixed opinions or no opinions at all. Like, no one really particularly likes or hates this film, which is kind of strange. In my experience with Ridley Scott, it can be one of two things: a flawed masterpiece or an overproduced migraine waiting to happen. So, like anybody else with nothing better to do, I flipped a coin and decided to tumble down the rabbit hole. There's a lot to unpack here, but I'll do my best.
Your best. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
Oh, grow up, 007.
Anyway, the movie takes place in the forest inhabited by things a dungeon master in the late 80s would throw in their D&D game, like fairies, elves, unicorns, dwarves, etc., etc., with the focus centering around three main characters: Princess Lily, the forest boy named Jack, and the evil Lord of Darkness, forming the strangest love triangle since Mario, Peach, and Bowser. The story begins with the Lord of Darkness, who wants to enshroud the entire world in a never-ending ice age so no form of light or hope can exist. So he devises a plan to kill the final two unicorns who exist as balancers of this world. So he summons his minion Blix to carry out his command, scheming to use beings of innocence as bait to lure them out. In comes Princess Lily and Jack, who of course play right into their hands.
Maybe innocent, maybe sweet. Ain't half as nice as rotting meat.
And Jack doing the age-old trope of trying to impress a woman, which goes like this: "Hey, you want to see something cool? Sure! Let's go! But you can only look, not touch. Don't you trust me? Okay. You swore you wouldn't try to touch them. I lied, bitch. Later. Ah, shit, dead unicorn." The goblins take the unicorn's horn, turning the forest into Hoth from episode 8, making everyone scramble to find out what happened. Lily, however, tries to correct her mistake, but gets captured and taken with the remaining unicorn back to the evil lair, making Jack the hero by default. Or that's the way the movie puts it anyway.
You do. We must get you some weapons.
Me, Becamp, I know nothing of weapons.
You learn. I know where to find the best.
So Jack forms his RPG party and sets off to make the world right again by saving Princess Lily, freeing the unicorn, retrieving the lost horn, and defeating the Lord of Darkness. As by the numbers as any other fantasy movie, making it all too clear why so many people are indifferent towards this movie, giving it more of a cult status instead of being commercially praised or hated like Ridley Scott's other films. I'm going to begin with the positives. First off, the movie looks great. There are scenes in this film that look like they crawled right out of a storybook. Costumes and effects are top notch for the most part. Actor-wise, we have a young Tom Cruise doing his best Tarzan impersonation, Mia Sara from Ferris Bueller's Hall of Fame, and Tim Curry, the only reason to actually seek out this film.
You're nothing but an animal.
We are all animals, my lady. Most are too afraid to see it.
Tim Curry destroys everyone else with his performance. Nobody else in the cast can hold a flame. It also helps he's already decked out in the best Diablo cosplay I've ever seen, showing it off in the best intro in the whole damn movie. But then there's the bad. When I said the effects were mostly good, they are when they're not under a layer of glitter. They went absurdly nuts with the glitter in this film. It's not just used in the snow scenes, it's in the evil lair, catacombs, dungeons, all over the actors. You can't get away from it.
It's everywhere!
Then there's this scene that's supposed to be serious. There's bubbles bombarding the actors. Look at this. Why? It's like some kid got loose on stage with their bubble sword. Hey, I grew up in the 90s. That sword was awesome. Dialogue is also inconsistent. The goblins will be speaking in rhyme one moment, then normally the next. To add insult to injury, the lead goblin Blix dubs another actor over in the cast. Kind of noticeable when their scenes are layered back to back.
Not even darkness lasts forever. Jack, I can't go with you now.
The reason for dubbing doesn't make a lick of sense either. The actor for Gump supposedly had a thick European accent, which is odd considering this old boy can still do his shtick.
Good lass. You're a plucky little partridge.
Too late!
If you imps are looking for a fight, you come to the chapel to oblige you.
The movie is really thick with hammy acting too. Tim Curry pulls his end off coming off as a villain out of Shakespeare.
Lord of darkness, I require the solace of the shadows and the dark of the night.
All the other actors seem to want to try to one-up everybody else. But when the movie has scenes like this...
Bluebells! To hear them ring means your life is at an end!
No! Damnation conference is called! Putting fiddles in shotgun trumpets!
And this...
Let this serve to remind you. They are each crowned with a single horn reaching straight to heaven.
I get the point, Lord.
Me thinks you need to dial it back some. Even though I spent the past few minutes shitting on this movie, I'm going to come to its defense on something. There's a statement floating around that a lot of critics seem to have with this film. Because Legend flopped so bad at the box office, it's accused of killing the fantasy genre until Peter Jackson came along with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That seems a bit unfair. Labyrinth came out in '86 and Princess Bride came out in '87, with Willow right on its heels. For me personally, I believe the fantasy genre killed itself. With oversaturations and countless Conan ripoffs flooding the brand new video market now defunct, audience burnout was inevitable. Kind of how the superhero genre is going these days, it seems to be a repeating trend. Even if Legend made some questionable design choices, the movie still has a lot going for it. There is a good film buried somewhere in this. You just gotta dig it out. The first time I sat down and watched this film was with my niece and nephew, who were both 9 years old. Perfect considering that the original target demographic was about this age. My niece adored this film and wanted to watch it again. With my nephew, on the other hand, he was bored out of his mind and wanted to do literally anything else, exposing me to both sides of this aisle. If someone said they loved this film, I couldn't blame them for it. My favorite film of all time was Blade Runner, and that movie is a hot mess with more cuts than an emo kid living in Los Angeles. So I won't personally recommend Legend, but I can't ward people away from it either. If you do seek this film out, watch the director's cut. The theatrical version was a chopped up mess with certain lines and dialogue missing from the movie. So if you want a more complete viewing experience, check that one out instead. I'm trying some new stuff with my YouTube channel, trying to improve the experience as best I can. So if you could, leave a comment down below. Just tell me what you think. And I'd also like to give a shout out to my first subscriber ever. It means the world to me, and I'd like to thank you. And I'm going to try to live up to your expectations by giving the best content I can possibly give. Please like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one.
Juicy boy. Who needs this tender morsel? Disturbing red to muckle bones.
Ah, cool. I didn't know Kathy Griffin was in this film. She hasn't aged today.